All right. Let's start talking about the Missouri Tigers. All right. I will start. You feel free to jump in whenever you.
Can I jump in before you start?
Yeah, of course, of course. Go ahead.
Because I don't think a lot of people are going to realize this. But Coach Drink has the second most wins in the SEC over the last 2 years, only behind Georgia. And now, granted, Texas has only been in the SEC 1 year, but that's an 11-2 run and a 10-3 run, and that's pretty damn strong.
And a win over Ohio State by double digits in the Cotton Bowl as well. Yes, that's damn strong. And you look at the games the games they lost last year at Texas A&M, at Bama, and at South Carolina in an epic thriller where they had taken the lead with I think on that long pass to Burden with 55 seconds, maybe a minute. And then South Carolina marches down that Sellers and Rocket. The year before, when they only lost twice, they lost at Georgia when they were number one in the nation and easily covered. And they lost to LSU at home in that thriller when they were ahead 39-35 and Jaden Daniels was backed up at his own 10 on a 3rd and 15 and took off for a 20-yard scramble and then bing, ding, bing, and LSU wins. So, wow, so they have only lost one home game in the last 2 years, and that was to Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors, et cetera, and Brian Thomas Jr., et cetera, et cetera. So Eli's got this thing rolling, and were you wanting to add anything else there?
No, I just saw doing a little prep work. It just popped. It popped off the screen to me that only Georgia has
Sure.
won more games in the SEC over the last 2 years. Because, I mean, I don't know if the rest of this conversation is going to give Coach Drink the flowers, but what he's built there, the resume is far surpassing the name recognition over the last 2 years.
No question about it. And you look at what Barry Odom has done at UNLV the last 2 years, and he parlayed it into a Big Ten job. But Odom went 5-7, 7-6, 7-6, and 4-8 before Drink got there. And oh wait, was that? I was just doing the against the spread record. I'm sorry, my apologies. Odom went 4-8 straight up, 7-6, 8-5, and 6-6. And yeah, Drink's been killing it. It started by him starting to get those 5-star guys out of St. Louis, which was Luther Burden, maybe one that's already left. I forget, but he's gotten several 5-star guys out of, and he's done great work in the portal as well. All right, so last year they finished 10-3 straight up, 9-4 against the spread. They return 35 Letterman. They lost 30 Letterman. They got the number 14 overall recruiting class in the country per 247 Sports Composite. The number 7 transfer specific class, 39 commits, 1 5-star, 17 4-stars, 23 stars, 22 total transfers, 1 5-star, and 6 4-stars. The 4-star transfers are, I'm sorry, let's start with the 5-star transfer is the edge rusher from Georgia, Damon Wilson, who redshirted his first year last year as a redshirt freshman, 22 tackles, 5.5 TFLs, 3 sacks, 4 QB hurries, and 2 forced fumbles. All right, 4-star QB Bo Prabula, who's stepping into some big shoes with Jay's boy, Brady Cook. Okay, so Bo
That
Prabula.
Brady is spelled with a silent PED at the front of it.
So Prabula has been Drew Aller's backup and kind of changed the pace running guy. In 2023, 11 of 21 throwing the ball, 52.4%, 149 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 56 rushing attempts, 329 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns, 5.9 yards per carry average. Last year, 26 of 35 throwing it, 74.3%, 275 passing yards, 5-to-1 TDI and T ratio, 38 rushing attempts, 242 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 6.4 yards per carry average. But a red flag that you pointed out in the green room.
Well, hey, look, these kids should be looking for every opportunity, especially in football, to make as much money as they can, as quickly as they can, because their career could be over on the next snap. I get it. But it really sends a red flag to me when a guy leaves. He was the backup quarterback in Happy Valley with the Penn State Nittany Lions. So transferring, knowing that a projected top 10 pick is coming back next year, you're going to have to be the backup again. Nobody questions his decision to enter the portal. What I question is the timing he entered the portal. He got in the portal as the backup a week before Penn State goes to the college football playoff. And if one position in all of sports has got to be 100% team before me, it's quarterback. So that's a troubling issue for me. I mean, am I picking nits? Maybe. I don't know. But
I'm sorry, my question is, he still could have entered the portal. Like, does the portal close if Penn State went all the way to CFP? He could have still entered after, yes, right?
The portal, I mean, dear Lord, the portal feels like the sliding doors at Walmart had opened so many times. So there were plenty of times to re-examine the portal. That guy just said, no, I'm out, man. Peace.
If Aller sprains his ankle in the first quarter of the Boise State game, he's the starter throughout the rest of the playoff.
And then think what your marketability is. And how big of a pickle did you leave the Nittany Lions in? And Aller did not sprain his ankle, so
right.
I mean, it's all moot. But I mean, it's not a good look. It's not a good look.
No, it's not a good look at all, and I don't like it at all. Now, I guess the thinking is, teams that are looking for a quarterback want to get their starter and they want to know who it is ASAP, and that's where the NIL money is going. So,
and you put yourself on the market ahead of everybody else. I get it, but right. you how many chances are you really going to say you have a chance to win it all?
But let me ask you this, because I mean, I feel like ahead of the bowl games, a lot of times I'm really concerned about who's going to be on the field with my handicapping, and they, a lot of times they have entered the portal, but they still let them play in their bowl games. So why didn't he enter the portal and still play?
Well, but and conversely, you're also talking about a whole lot of bowl games that have been now rendered meaningless.
Right.
So, right. I mean, I get the idea that you don't want to potentially get hurt, but you're the backup quarterback and you're 3 wins away from a ring.
Right. Just enter the portal. Start letting the teams that are interested in I want this much.
January window.
Or yeah, sure, any of that.
I mean, hey, because everybody jumped in with both feet on Nico Amaliava, and his timing was ludicrously bad to go in and ask for a pay raise on the Friday before the spring game. Is it all that much worse than ditching your team as a backup, as QB2 before you're about to have 3 wins to win an Natty?
Yep. Okay. Other 4-star transfers for Mizzou: edge rusher Nate Johnson, coming from App State. The last 2 seasons for the Mountaineers, 2023 and 24, he combined for 77 tackles, 13 TFLs, 10 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, 2 passes broken up. All right. Another 4-star is an interior lineman who is going to start at right guard per Phil Steele's magazine. That is Dominique Guidis, who started 5 games at Michigan last year. We already talked about Kevin Coleman, 4-star receiver from Mississippi State. 74 catches, 932 yards, 6 touchdowns. last year. And we also mentioned Ahmad Hardy, the running back from ULM, first team All Sun Belt, 1,351 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns as a true freshman for ULM. But I've got a 3-star transfer who might be the best of all these guys, and I don't know why he's not a 4-star transfer. And he does have plenty of SEC roots because he previously played at Arkansas as far back as 2019. He also played at Texas, and he also played at UNLV. But back in 2020, he was first team All SEC and made some All American teams. Played in 10 games, 99 tackles for the Razorbacks, 2 TFLs, 3 INTs, 1 pick six, 2 forced fumbles, 4 pass breakups, a fumble recovery. Do you know what I'm talking about yet, Jay?
No, I mean,
All right. All right.
I mean, heck, at this pace, you could be talking about Brian Bosworth. It seems like he's been in the league that long.
All right. At UNLV last year, 96 tackles, 5 TFLs, 5 interceptions, 1 pick six, 4 pass breakups, 2 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. His name is Jalen Catalon, and he has 35 career starts. Now, in 21 and 22, he had season-ending injuries to his shoulder at Arkansas. He went to Texas, started early in the season at Texas, and then I don't know if he had injury issues or he just fell out of favor, but had a redemption type year at UNLV last year, and now he's back in the SEC. One other 3-star transfer I wanted to mention, Mose Phillips, 13 starts at safety for Virginia Tech the last 2 years and 92 tackles. So he gives them some depth in the secondary. All right. Other things I wanted to hit on before I get to the gambling numbers. All right. Phil Steele's national unit rankings has Mizzou unranked at quarterback. Number 30 at running back, number 27 wide receiver, 25 O-line, 32 D-line, 31 linebacker, 27 DB or secondary. And the O-line has 77 career starts. All right, we also have a lot of representation on Phil Steele's All SEC preseason. Preseason first team All SEC and preseason first team All American. Offensive guard Caden Green, 13 starts last year after transferring from Oklahoma. All right, second team preseason All SEC, Jalen Catalon at safety, Coleman at wide receiver, and Ahmad Hardy, the ULM transfer at running back. Third team, we've got linebackers Tristan Newson and Josiah Trotter. Trotter was at West Virginia last year. He's a 3-star transfer, started 12 games, 92 tackles, 4 TFLs. Newson was Mizzou's second leading tackler last year, 71 tackles, 6.5 TFLs. And then third team is safety Dylan Carnell, 51 tackles, 7 passes broken up, and 5 TFLs. And then fourth team, defensive tackle Chris McClellan, formerly of Florida, who had 5.5 TFLs, 2.5 sacks for Mizzou last year. And also center Connor Tollison, who has 35 career starts, was third team All SEC in 2023, but his season was cut short last year with a season-ending injury. All right, the betting numbers at FanDuel, at least at last look, 7.5 under -124, over +102, 50-1 odds to win the SEC championship game.
All right. Just a couple of names of note there. And one, you mentioned Hardy in our biggest question marks and replacements. I think he's going to be a load because you rightly noted that kid went for north of 1,300 on a pretty bad football team.
Football team.
Secondly, Josiah Trotter is a baller. He was a national recruit that had offers from Ohio State and every other elite program in the country. You know who his daddy is?
Jeremiah?
Yes.
So he didn't want to go to Clemson because his older brother had just got done balling there for 4 years. Huh, interesting. Jeremiah Trotter is one of the best linebackers in NFL history, if you ask me.
Oh, I think I'd rather try to tackle Derrick Henry than get tackled by Jeremiah Trotter.
Wow, that's a good comp. Neither one of them sound a whole lot of fun.
No, it's not something I'm going to look out to do on my day off. That's for doggone sure.
That's true. All right, we ready to jump in the schedule?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's do it. Central Arkansas at home on a Thursday. Both W's.
Correct.
All right, Kansas at home. I'm going to give them a W, but I will concede. I initially marked it a swing game, but I think it's a W.
I do too, and had the same thought process that this is, if this was Kansas a year ago when they snuck up on a few people, I think it could be a different kettle of fish, but Kansas isn't sneaking up on anybody anymore.
Right. Louisiana in week 3. Now, Louisiana will be one of the best teams in the Sun Belt, but that's a dub.
Yep.
3-0 with South Carolina coming to town. I marked it a swing game, and I think it's a true swing game in my mind right now because we got to see. I mean, we'll come back and grade it for conversation purposes, but I mean, we got to see how Prabula's looking and have a better read on them, and we got to see how South Carolina's defense is looking after seeing all those studs that they lost. So for now, I'm just going to call it a swing game. We'll grade it, come back. Or do you want to grade it right now or what?
No, because I was just sitting here thinking, if you take rivalry games out of it, even though they stupidly tried to make this the Columbia Cup or whatever they called it, in terms of real, other than real rivalry games, I don't know if I can put a finger on a bigger swing game for both teams in especially in the first half of the SEC season, because South Carolina's got playoff aspirations and they could die right here. And if Prabula is him, Missouri may have more answers than questions compared to a South Carolina team that has a lot to replace.
Let me backtrack here because I forgot to do this in my prep. My bad, but I can kind of do it now while we're on the show. FanDuel did release a game of the year line for Missouri, Kansas, and it is Missouri minus 7.5 and even money on the 7.5 for Mizzou. If you want Kansas plus 7.5, it's minus 122. KU is plus 210 on the money line. 51.5 is the total. And I don't think, they did not post the Missouri South Carolina line though. All right.
Hey,
so
before we move on the schedule.
Yep.
And maybe it's inflation, maybe it's greed, whatever it is. Don't you miss the days where most lines were minus 110 on both sides? And now you've got, okay, I get flipping it if one side's even money and the other side's then minus 120 because you're making odds. But now you look at a whole bunch of these gambling sites and both of them could be minus 115 or one of them's minus 120 and the other one's minus 110. They're making millions by shaving dimes. You know it?
Yeah, minus 115 either way. That's a 30-cent line. It's not supposed to be a 30-cent line. It's supposed to be a 20-cent line. FanDuel's making this a 22-cent line. No, it's not supposed to be like that. In fact, I remember way back when, like 20 years ago, when I did a lot of my betting offshore, sportsbook.ag, they would have half juice Fridays, baby. It would be minus 105 on Fridays.
Well, in truth, as gambling sites become more and more prominent, they're legal in 38 states now. And in truth, within 3 years, they'll be legal in 48. Only Utah and Idaho are dead set against it. The only thing keeping your neighborhood Vito, who picks up the phone whenever you call in business, is he gives you better odds.
Right. Yeah.
Because you don't pay juice unless you lose.
I purposely still on the down low to our listeners, but
Well, are viewing numbers that low that you're about to admit to crimes?
just let our listeners know it's on the down low. I still use my old accounts because everything's better than the Hard Rock. So I never said that. Anyway,
I hope we don't sign a sponsorship with Hard Rock, and we're gonna have to go back and kiss on the way back in.
To hell with Seminole Hard Rock. All right. So we're gonna keep that a swing game, South Carolina. So it's 3-0, and they're gonna go 4-0 with a home win over UMass. And they have 2 weeks to prepare for Alabama coming to Mizzou. And if I'm not mistaken, Alabama plays at Georgia the week before. And if so, that makes this one of the best scheduling spots, and that is accurate. Wait, hold on. Alabama. No, I am wrong. I'm sorry. Alabama plays at Georgia September 27th when Mizzou is playing UMass. Alabama plays Vandy, Diego Pavia. By the way, he was at UFC 317, and Dana had him with some good seats as well Saturday night. So they play Diego in a revenge, but it's a revenge game that they are gunning for. So I still think it's a really good spot for Mizzou with 2 weeks to prepare.
I completely agree, and I think this is a dangerous spot for Alabama for all the reasons you just mentioned. And if I had to, the unknown at quarterback makes picking this schedule really hard.
Exactly.
And so caveat emptor to our viewers out there, and this may be something that you kind of sit back and wait, and yeah, the odds could swing because of course the books are paying attention too. But I mean, that's what, your first 5 games all at home, first 6 games, you don't leave campus. I think this is a golden spot to pull a monster upset from Missouri. And I'll tell you this, whether you want to bet their season win total yay or nay, as we kick this around with the unknowns at quarterback, if Prabula looks to even have a pulse by comparison, this is an ideal spot to get a home dog that'll be frisky.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely agree, and that's wild that they don't get on an airplane until they come to Auburn October 17th. I mean, they don't have to get on an airplane once. That's wild.
Yes.
1, 2, and they have 8 home games. Wow, that's good for them. All right, I'm gonna come back.
Hey, and I'll throw you another one and you talk about a scheduling opportunity. Their first road trip is the week after Auburn hosts Georgia.
Oh, but Auburn's really going to be gunning for Mizzou, though.
Well, they're also gunning for Georgia. And
I know.
And
if they win, it's a letdown scenario.
If they win, it's a letdown scenario. If Georgia does what it does and goes in there and spanks Auburn, there's going to be a lot of Hugh Freeze whispering.
Oh, there's a lot of dynamics going on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, this Missouri schedule's tough to pick. Well, look, I'm going to keep them with a swing game with Alabama, so I'm going to come back and grade Alabama, South Carolina, and we might do the split thing. But I've got them losing at Auburn.
I do too. And that's just to be consistent with what we did when we picked Auburn's. I'm trying to be not prisoner of the moment, but
sure.
I'm pretty certain we both picked Auburn to win that game in Jordan-Hare.
Yeah, we did. And we haven't done Vandy yet. So I got this. So after Auburn, it's at Vandy, a back-to-back road situation. And, quarterback advantage to the Commodores.
I'm still going Tigers because I think they've got edges almost everywhere else, including under the headset, because I think Drink's pretty good at this. And here's the other thing. We don't know where – we know what Vandy has. Everybody show favorite Diego Pavia. We don't know a whole lot else. And the conversation there is, what if they're underachieving and half that stadium could be Missouri fans.
Yeah, but I don't know that Missouri will bring as many as the rest of the SEC brings there.
Yeah, but Missouri's got so many alum that this is a much easier trip for so many different states to get to Nashville than it is to get all the way back to Missouri.
Yeah. All right. I'll give Missouri a dub there. So then they get an open date, and they have 2 weeks to prepare for A&M, but A&M also has 2 weeks. So, man, this is a tough one. I'm gonna keep it a swing game, and then I'm gonna just grade all the swing games I have left. What do you think on that one?
All right, well then we'll come back to the three then, because we've got 3 swing games, and they're now 10 games in, so we've got them 6-1 with 3 swing games to dive into.
We've got them 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-1, 5-1. No, we've got 5-1 with
Vandy 6-1.
We've got 5-1 with 3. Hold on, let me do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-1, 5-1 with swing games. Alabama, South Carolina, and A&M. 5-1 with 3 swing games, and then 3 games left. Yeah, that's right. All right, 5-1 with 3 swing games. Mississippi State at home wins 6-1. At Oklahoma, I'm gonna go L.
I'm gonna go L too.
So 6-2 with 3 swing games, and at Arkansas,
I'm going win.
Ooh. What if yeah, we don't know what Pittman's status will be. Who's
absolutely
Arkansas?
Absolutely. We don't know how many, because nowadays you got to be real careful firing some. It's got to go way off the rails to fire somebody in season, because it not only derails recruiting, half your roster could have portaled by then.
Guess what Arkansas has the 2 weeks before it hosts Missouri? At LSU and at Texas. Ouch.
Hey, I mean, we talked about how great Missouri's been over the last couple of years by comparison, but this a big reason of that, and not to take anything away from the Tigers, has been the schedule. I mean, they're 1-5 against the really top teams, and then 20-0 against everybody else over the last 2 years. And the schedule maker has again done right by Drinkwitz and company, because, I mean, if the wheels fall off in Auburn, they're going to be in the bottom quarter or third of this league. Vandy, talent-wise, in the bottom quarter or third of this league. We know Mississippi State is in the bottom of this league. Arkansas, 100% could be in the bottom quarter or third to this league. And there's no Texas. There's no Georgia. There's no Florida.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, that's a completely doable schedule. And to get, I mean, we're going to break down the swing games because we owe it to everybody. But to get here's the other thing I give it a win about Arkansas. If our big questions are about the quarterback early on, the transfer quarterback from Penn State, I have to believe a coach as talented, especially on that side of the ball, as Eli Drinkwitz, is going to have it figured out by the week after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's another ball coach named Petrino who's going to be calling for Arkansas that day. So here you're going 7-2, 3 swing game, 7-2 with 3 swing games with Missouri winning at Arkansas. I'm going to go 6-2 with 4 swing games because I think at Arkansas is going to be tough. And then I'm going to grade the swing games by say they go 2-2.
Okay. Then we're both on the over 7.5 for plus money, because if I've got Arkansas as a W, I feel real good about my final 3 swing games at Oklahoma, Alabama at home, South Carolina at home, of them getting one of those 3.
At home. All 3 at home. All you need is 1. Yeah. Yeah.
No, they're at Oklahoma, brother.
Well, I thought we both marked that as an L.
Oh, yeah, we did. You're right.
It's A&M, Bama, and South Carolina all at home.
Yeah. So all 3 of those, if you've got to get one of those 3 and they're all in Columbia, I have talked myself into, even with the uncertainty at quarterback, that I've got a real strong lean to Missouri over 7.5 on plus money.
Yep, I like it over 7.5 too. It won't be a big bet, and I haven't bet it. I'll probably bet it a little bit.
Truly, what I said earlier, I'm going to stand by. I'm going to wait till we start some spring practice, or at least after SEC media days, because of course he's not going to trash the transfer quarterback,
right.
But it would be telling if he's the one they send. It'd be real telling.
Well, so the Sam Horn guy that they still have, it's going to be his third year in the program. I mean, he was a 4-star coming out, but I mean, he couldn't unseat Drew Pine for the backup last year. And they've got a true freshman coming in, Matt Zollers, who was their second highest recruit in this class, and he was in for spring. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, all right. So we both are over. I don't love it by any means, but yeah. I mean, they can win 9.
Yeah, they could. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. And if the quarterback's good, they probably do win 9.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, because the defense,
the schedule is completely manageable.
Yeah, schedule's manageable. They've got a lot of key parts back on a defense that gave up only 20.4 points per game. Like I said, the number 7 transfer specific class. So
and they got a trotter, man.
Yeah,
if you got a trotter, you got a chance.
Yeah. Why were Trotter and Catalon only 3-star transfers? I like them better than some of